Hi there. Well, it's actually morning, which is a rarity for me. I usually do these things in the middle of the night, so yeah, this is just proof that I do actually get up at a reasonable hour. So yeah, this is my latest sales update. This is the one for July. I've got quite a few more things to show you, but I'm also going to try and be a little bit briefer with each one that I show, just for well, you don't want to be here all day watching my ugly bald head. Just to sort of talk about things a little bit before. I've had an absolutely amazing month. Things are just getting busier and busier for me. I couldn't be happier with how self-employment's going. It's scary, really, that it's just picked up so well. It just feels effortless now. I'm really in a good groove with it. I've hit a few bumps here and there. There's been a couple of returns, quite a couple of big ones for like £100 here and there, which is it's quite a hit. And I'm learning about managing my income, obviously, because I think what I was doing was spending more money than I needed to on stock rather than concentrating on getting the stock that I've already got listed. So I think now going forward, certainly for the next few months, I'm going to be spending a lot less on inventory week to week and letting the money from all my sales build up in my account while still paying myself a reasonable amount. I'm now at a point where I can pay myself. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I'll pay myself £350 a week, which is just about what I was paying myself. What I was paying myself, but this is what I was earning when I was actually working for someone. So it's really really good that the business can do that. So what I'm going to do now is just show you briefly my seller dashboard, just to give you some idea of the numbers you can achieve. Now I'm going to be honest with you guys, right? Okay, I am not working a 50, 60 hour week. It hardly feels I'm working much at all. I'm probably, ooh, what's happened there? Probably putting in a good solid 30 hours of actual eBay in and sourcing and stuff, but that doesn't include going out and post office, going out dropping things off at the shop, at the Hermes drop off, which I do obviously every day. Doesn't include when you finish. You don't finish really, because after 6, 7 o'clock at night, you're at home, you're answering messages on eBay, you're looking online for things to source, especially like Facebook and things. So it doesn't really, you don't really turn off like you would do with a traditional job. So it's kind of hard to gauge, but I'll be honest with you, it doesn't feel like work. It certainly doesn't feel like hard work. So let's just dive into these numbers a little bit. Let's see if I can, don't know what I've done here. I'm going to be this video is going to be a bit more, a bit less polished than the last few, because I had to reset my computer for various issues. So it's running fine now, but it does mean that I've had to uninstall Premiere Pro. So right, okay, so just looking on here, can you see me still? I hope you can. Right, so these are my figures for the last 31 days. As you can see there, I've had just under £5,000 worth in sales, which is brilliant. Now, those of you who watched my videos before know that my margin's about 66%. So my gross profit on that is probably £3,500. So you can see there, my last 7 days. It's been a bit quieter this week. I've only done 750 in sales in the last 7 days. Last 31 days there, 4,900, which I'm up 43% on the previous month, and the last 90 days there, £11,000, which is absolutely incredible. I'm one guy doing this completely on my own, sourcing everything, listing everything, shipping everything. So and I'm a lazy guy. Someone with a really really good work ethic. I mean, I've got a good work ethic. I'm kind of half joking about that. I do graft, I do put in the hours, but it just goes to show that someone not even really pushing themselves fully can generate those kind of numbers. So that's brilliant. That, and just let's show you. Go down here. Still got my top rated seller status, and according to this, I've had sold 619 things in the last 12 months. So yeah, all really good numbers there. So let's have a look and dive into the into some of my most interesting sales from July. Obviously the other good thing as well is that these are meant to be sort of quieter months in retail, especially online. Everyone's gearing up ready, just sucking it in before sort of buying for Christmas, and everyone's out doing things, people are away on holiday. So, this has sort of bucked the trend with that. So it's, I was a bit concerned that it was going to be slow for me, and that hasn't been the case. I was a bit concerned that I was going to struggle to find things to sell. That hasn't been the case. So I really want to sort of, I mean, I want to put your minds at rest for anyone thinking of making the jump to full time. You know, you can do it. It's out there. It's a big country. There's so much. There's an abundance of stock. There's so much stuff out there that you can grab. And you know, if little old me with no sort of formal training or anything like that can go and make a really decent full time wage out of this, then pretty much anyone can. And I'm going to be scaling it upwards as well. I'm going to talk about it in a later video. In fact, I'm going to just say now, I'm going to do a video about what I do, why I do it, and what my plans are for the future, because I think that'd be quite interesting. So we'll touch on that in a later video. But just for now, let's just go back onto these numbers. Okay, cool. So these are selections of things that I've sold in the last month. So this fella here, this is a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Titanus, or Tit Anus, which is I quite like to call it. It says it there, Tit Anus. I'm sorry, I'm still 14 in my head. That sold for £60. That went global shipping, I think. Or no, it didn't. No, that went in the UK. That did. That's a huge beast of a Power Ranger thing. That was in with a big bundle. If you see my other videos, I paid 40 quid for a huge bundle of Power Rangers stuff, and that's been selling really well for me. So yeah, he went. What else do we have here? Look, I've got, oh my god, so many tabs open. This here was a charity shop pickup. It's a Nike Canada hockey jersey, which I paid £1 for. Sold it for 30 quid. That was on there for less than a week, and that went overseas, I think. That's a really cool shirt there. As you can see, what I've invested in, I've got like a kind of half a shop mannequin, which I now dress my clothes up on. I've got a woman's one as well and a kid's one. So I think my clothes look a lot better than just sort of hanging it up on a doorway. Look at the size of the sleeves on that as well, cool. It's a really nice shirt actually. So this shirt sort of showing this, how I take my photos, just showing all the detail in that, and obviously the label there as well. I think that looks quite good, and I do sell really well. Look, loads of trainers, loads of shoes, so yeah, it's all good. What I have done as well, guys, I now have pretty much migrated over from global shipping. I don't really use that anymore. I'd say 90% of my international orders are through eBay. I just do my own international postage, and I'm getting loads of overseas orders, which is really good. Right, this here is a bundle of Transformers vintage annuals, all from 1984 onwards, right up to there's one missing because I sold that one separately, but that fetched £32. They were part of the large Transformers collection that I'm actually starting to list now. So yeah, I was really pleased with that. Can I say that I was really pleased with that? Oh, this is a bit of a shame, this fella here. It's a gorgeous Pioneer surround sound amplifier. I bought a few bits and pieces from a gent off Facebook, lovely fella. Some just electronic items, and this was a cracking bit of kit. This was like a £400-500 amplifier, brand new. It's about 10 years old now. I had to buy a new replacement remote control for it there, as you can see. Posted it, sent it. I took an offer of £90 on it, so it didn't sell for 100. It sold for 90. And then unfortunately it got damaged on the way there. And I really packed it well. I pack all my stuff really well. And it wasn't enough to save it from the mistreatment of the couriers. So I've started a claim through Shuttle with that. Oh my god, don't get me started talking about Shuttle. But yeah, so hopefully I should get my money back for that. I don't know, because I'm not sure whether they insure electrical items or not. So yeah, that was a shame, but that sold for 100 quid anyway. Obviously, the important thing when you're doing your accounts is if you do get any returns, make sure you take them off your monthly sales, because obviously you've had to refund the money from that, and it's easy to forget, especially if you're doing a large amount of sales per week, that if you've got the odd return here and there, they can make a good saving on your not saving, but good reduction on your monthly sales. And obviously, you don't want to be paying tax on something that you've had to refund. Obviously, you've not had the money for it and you've had to give it back. So always keep a note of your returns. Yeah, because at the end of the day, your aim is to pay as small amount of tax as possible, and anything you can put on, anything legitimate you can put on to offset that tax payment at the end of the month, at the end of the year, is is good. So those refunds, and keep all your receipts. Keep your receipts for everything that you buy. Right, okay, these were some, who remembers these? I should just call my channel that, who remembers this? I'm just sort of dripping in nostalgia, aren't I? It's not good. Right, okay, these were kickers. Anyone who was anyone back in the 90s owned a pair of these. These weighed a ton as well. They were over 2 kilos. I think they were just under 2 kilos in weight, but really heavy quality kickers. Probably paid 2-3 quid for them off the top of my head. They went abroad for 40 quid. I mean, they're in good conditions, a little bit of wear on them, as you can see, but I've had great feedback from them, so yeah, that's really good. And just to let you know, there's going to be an item in all this that's the best profit margin that I've ever had on anything that I've ever sold. It's not the most expensive thing I've ever sold, not quite, but it is the best margin because it's something that I got for free. So yeah, so not these though, but yeah, those sold for 40 quid. As you can see here, look, I fill my title. Men's vintage kickers, moccasin shoes, leather, chunky, retro 90s shoe. I don't know why I've put shoe twice there. But yeah, plenty of nouns. You want as many nouns, as many words as possible that people are going to use to look for your item. I'm going to talk about promoted listings as well. What I've started doing is using eBay promoted listings on all of my items. Now, the reason being behind that, you can set how much you want to pay. So I just pay a minimum of 1%. Now, you only pay that if the item sells, and only if it sells through the promoted listings thing. So I'll talk about it a bit more in a later video, but I've certainly noticed an upturn in my sales since I've got that in place, because it does bump your listings up over everybody else's. So yeah, I think that is working for me. And for the sake of 1%, so basically you're paying 11% instead of 10% eBay fees, only if something sells through the promoted listing. If they click that sponsored link, then it tracks as a sale through that. If they don't do it, if they just click it through the normal listing, then eBay doesn't take that extra percent. So I think just 1% across the board through everything is enough to give all my listings a bump. So it's well worth trying out. I definitely recommend it. Alright, cool. Now we have this amazing Batmobile that I was so gutted to get rid of. Bought it on Facebook. I bought this and another Star Wars Ultimate Collector's set for £140. Now, with things like this, you're not going to make those kind of margins that I like to make on most of my things here. So I sold this for 160. I sold the Star Wars set for 174. I'll come to that later in the video. But I kept this. I kept it for like 2 months, and it was sat there, and it's such an amazing set. But I just thought to myself, no, I'm going to sell it. No, I'm going to sell it. But look at that. It's well cool. A bit of interesting thing about these, I seem to remember about 10 years ago when they first came out, when Woolworths was still a thing. Woolworths were clearing these out at 20 quid, and there were stacks of them on the shelves, and this was before they were, obviously going up in value, and I think it was before Lego had become such a massive thing like it is today, with like adult collectors and that. And if you'd have thought about it, you could have, filled your garage full of these for 20 quid a pop. Now, this was second hand, it sold for 160. You get 300 quid for that new now, so it's just amazing the markup on them. But yeah, it's crazy the stuff that just Woolworths, there's a thing. Right, okay, next we have a vintage speedboat. This was a model kit. I bought a job lot of these from some guy on Facebook, paid 15 quid for the lot. Now, this thing's huge. That doesn't do it justice. That box is like 2.5 foot long. I'm sure I put more photos in it than that. What's happened there? What's happened? I don't know what's happened there. There were certainly loads of photos on that. Okay, anyway, yeah, sold that for 40 quid. That's quite a nice little sale. I'm not bothering showing you the £10 and £15 sales. I'm just showing you the stuff that's a little bit more substantial, because these are the things that you can still keep an eye out for. I'll be honest, I don't really sort of buy stuff now that are going to get 10, 12 quid for. 15 quid return is my minimum now. Yeah, I keep telling myself yeah, it generally is, yeah. Another Star Wars set. This is part of a Lego bundle that I bought from Facebook. Again, I priced it high. Mine was the highest priced used set on there, and I just left it on. It took about a month and a half to sell, but it eventually sold for 45 quid. Have the confidence in the items. Don't get involved in this race to the bottom of your prices. Set your price and forget about it, and just grow your inventory and just keep putting stuff on, and stuff will sell, I promise you. I'm up to about 340 active listings now. I'm struggling to replenish them as much as well, no, I'm not. I've got loads of stuff listed, but it's what will happen when you reach a certain point. Stuff will just tick, and it will sell, and it will sell, and it will sell for you. 500 items is my next milestone. I can't wait to get to that. But yeah, I price everything high. I'm always make sure I'm at the top 2 or 3 highest priced for that item of equivalent sort of condition. Yeah. Right, so that's sold there. this here was part. Oh, I'll put this on it because I bought. Who's that? Look at that guy. He looks really friendly. This guy here is a spiritualist medium. I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of that because it's not something I agree with, really, to be honest. Sorry to alienate any spiritualists that are watching my channel. But I bought a load of these for a tenner. There was like 5 or 6 of these mediumship books. Someone on Facebook, and then they just looked a little bit interesting. Picked them up, and so far I've sold about 40-50 quid's worth of them. So that was one of them. It's how to fleece people and let them think that you're talking to their dead relatives. Yeah, there we go. Next up we have this. This has been sat there in my storage unit for forever. It's an overhead projector. Again, a Facebook pickup. There's a pattern here. Loads of Facebook pickups. So yeah, there you go. Tested, showed that it works. Photos are okay. It's quite a big bulky item, so it was hard to get like really good photographs on that in my photography space. Paid 15 quid for it. That sold for £90. Again, it was on there a while, but it eventually sold. So please, please, please don't be competing with everybody, and just put your stuff on and let it sell, and you'll get much more for it. Okay, next I've got this was actually one of my own items, an old PS2 Guitar Hero game. These still sell. Took an offer of 16 quid for that. It's just a wired one. It was like one of the very first ones that came out. These are like 15 years old now. So yeah, that was not a bad little sale. Obviously that won't go through my business because it was my own personal item. So a handful of these are, but 99% of everything I sell is for my business. Okay, next we've got a Guitar Hero bundle. This wasn't my own one. This is one that I picked up. I paid between 5 and 10 quid for it from a local charity shop. This sold for £100. Look at that. People, there was a time 5-6 years ago you couldn't give these away. That sold for 100 quid. Absolutely amazing. I will buy and pack these up all day long if you give me £100 for them. That is just brilliant. Did it go abroad? I don't think so. No, it went to the UK. But that was on there. You have 2-3 days and it sold. Pictures, yeah, list of the games. There we go. Just showing like any wear and tear on it. So yeah, that was an amazing sale. I had a lot of like £100 sales last month, which really helped my monthly sales total. Okay, this is a Claudio Lugli, Claudio Lugli men's pink shirt. Lovely shirt. I could have bloody ironed it. I'm sorry, that looks awful. That I do usually iron my things, but I don't know why I didn't. Really nice men's shirt. I would have actually kept it for myself because that's my kind of style. But it was too big for me. These are really nice designer men's shirt. They're not expensive, but they're like 60 to 70 quid new, but they do hold their value second hand. And I bought a load of them from a charity shop. I do own a couple of pairs of them, a couple of them myself as well, actually. But yeah, that's got really nice sort of detailing on the inner of the collar and on the cuffs there. Just a lovely shirt. That was on there for a few days and it sold for 28 quid. So yeah, second hand shirts do sell well. Next we've got a blazer. This is another charity shop find that I probably paid a couple of quid for. That picture doesn't do it justice. It makes it look a bit grubby, but it's not. It's like a sort of two-tone linen blazer, white and red. It sort of gives it this pinkish look, and it's got a really smart floral lining there. It was in great condition. Quite a trendy sort of thing. And look in the description, that's the make there. Brook Taverner, linen, cotton, because it was a blend, jacket blazer. Summer, retro, light, Miami, two-tone. So if someone's typing in light jacket, light, summer jacket, it's going to bring mine up. That was on there a couple of months, but it finally sold for 32 quid. I took an offer of it. So yeah, offer on it. So that was great. Next up we have another thing from the Power Rangers job lot I bought. That's just a head. Not a tiny little head, it's like a couple of inches, and it turns into like a crane. It's part of one of the Megazords, so that was like a spare part. That sold for £17. Next we've got another Claudio Lugli shirt. This is one of the nicest shirts I've ever seen in my life, and again it was too big for me, but I would have totally have kept this. This sold for £40. £40 for a second hand shirt. So just read my title: Claudio Lugli men's blue shirt, long sleeve, large, smart, unique, cotton, floral. So I've got everything you need in there really, and this wasn't on there long at all. Now let me see if I can show you these details on there. I don't know if you can see, but the There's a little weave of fabric in and out of the collar, and the detailing is just really smart, you know, bright floral. It's so cool. I'd have worn the hell out of that shirt, but it's just too big on me, unfortunately. So yeah, loads of photos of the detail there. People see exactly what they're getting. And yeah, that sold for 40 quid. So that's a cracking sale. That cost me, I think, £3 or £4. So that's a great margin. They're the kind of margins that I like. Right, this is the one. This is the best profit I've ever made on anything that I've ever sold. So this was free. This was, anyone who's watching the video who knows me, I've probably told you, I found this on the side of the road. There's a place near me that sort of always got stuff free outside the house. I don't know if they do house clearances or something. They just dump stuff on the side of the house, on the main road, just free to collect. I saw this and I was like, I did a double take and went back and picked it up. Now, it's nearly 3 foot long. It's basically a high-end wooden kit of a model ship. I couldn't find it at first on eBay. I was trying typing in wooden boat, wooden model, and it wasn't bringing anything up that matched this. It's slightly damaged. The little mast there is broken off. There's 1 or 2 other small pieces that came off, but otherwise it was intact. And this was literally free on the side of the road. So when I found that it was called a BIIIIG boat. So keep your eyes out for these. These kits are like £400–500 brand new, and the detailing on them is absolutely incredible. I am a model builder, but I'm not a boat builder. But I could really appreciate the workmanship that's gone into this. Someone spent like 100 hours building this and painting it. It was so well done. It's really, really well done. Let's have a look. It's also got the motor inside for the rudders. It's a proper boat, as in it works. It floats and it moves. Well, it would have. It's got the batteries there, as you can see. It's got all the motors and another battery pack inside there. Tested them, they all seem to work all right. So yeah, I used the full 12 photos on there. So what I did, I took a chance. I couldn't find anyone selling a second-hand completed one like this, so I just thought, you know what, 250. Well, no, I put it on for 299, and then someone offered me £249, and I snapped their hand off because that cost me nothing. I made £250 from literally some rubbish that had been thrown on the side of the road. So keep your eyes out for stuff like that. I'm not saying you're going to find one on the side of the road, but don't rule out, I'm not one of these like sort of dumpster diver type guys or rubbish hunters, but if I see something like that, I'm going to stop and grab it, sorry. Much to the embarrassment of my daughter. So yeah, so that was an amazing sale. So what's that? Hang on, let's do this. Let's do the maths on this. 10% fees, 3% PayPal fees, so it's 33 quid off that. So £217 profit in my hand for that, just for stopping and picking something up, spending 20 minutes researching it, another 10–15 minutes listing it. Took me ages to wrap it. Oh my god, it's so fragile. It took me about half an hour to pack it. It's alright, I've put in an hour's work and it's got me 215 quid profit. So that was amazing. Yep, there we go. That's done. Enough gloating about that. These are good. Something to look out for are glasses frames. Charity shops, there's loads, always places just selling glasses. Prescription glasses, I mean. But if they're branded ones, you can sell them and people put their own lenses in them. That was a pair of police glasses. Police the brand, obviously, not police force. They sold for, I took an offer of 16 quid. I sent an offer actually. This is the latest thing eBay are doing where you can send offers to people that are watching. So yeah, I sent them an offer of 18% off because I paid like £1 for them. So yeah, I was pleased with that. I've just recently sold a pair of Karen Millen glasses as well. I got 20 quid for them. What else we got here? BT UView box, paid a £5 for from a local charity shop. Tested it, seemed to work absolutely fine. Took an offer on that of 36 quid. They sell really well, people's always buying them. And what else we have here? Star Wars Rancor figure. It's not a vintage one. It is kind of technically vintage. 1998 from the Power of the Force range. I knew it was a Rancor. Looks like one of my testicles. Look at that angry fella. He's well cool, really good figure. So yeah, he was on for a few days and he sold for 30 quid. Paid £3 for him, so yeah, we like that. Next we have, right, DVDs don't really sell much anymore, okay, so don't waste your time with DVDs. Amazon, you can't sell them, well I can't, except these sold. I got 24 quid for these. These were in local Bernardo's charity shop. They were in like the 4 for £1 section. So I paid £1 for all 3 of these. They were all the extended editions, 15 disc, and I got £24 for them. So I will take those kind of numbers. So there are certain things that do still fetch decent money. That's good. What else we got? We have some awesome vintage sunglasses here. These ones I paid 50p for at a car boot about 3-4 months ago. They're one of the few that I've only ever been to this year. I don't do car boot sales. Vintage 70s Polaroid sunglasses. I put Kurt in because they're sort of similar to the Kurt Cobain ones, and people typing in Kurt sunglasses to make this come up. Made in France, smoked retro, and they took a while, but I got £30 for them. Let's see, they just felt like quality glasses, I could just tell. Right, this was a Facebook pickup. I got £35 for a NES console, no controller, no games, just the console and power pack. Tested it, and it worked. Sorry, I've got my notifications coming up. Yeah, I got £35 for that. That was on there about a week, and that was in a bundle of consoles that I bought for £20. So yeah, it's probably ended up costing me a fiver, that was, and then I got £35 for it. Okay, next we have a this lovely, kind of lovely, Bang & Olufsen Biomaster amp and speakers. This was part of a Facebook pickup that I had. I've already sold the Bang & Olufsen record player for £250. I paid £50 for the whole lot. I've sold this for 90, so all in I'm in £340 for that. So that was a brilliant turnaround. Hard as hell to pack. It was really heavy, really bulky. Not a good combination, because if it gets dropped, it's going to damage itself. But yeah, that took a while, but that sold for £90. What next? We have words hard. Morning, need more coffee. This was Sony Gigajuke system. These still sell really, really well. Again, I priced it high. I made sure I was basically the most expensive second-hand seller of that. It took a couple of weeks, but that's sold. It's got a built-in hard drive, so you can rip CDs to your hard drive and play it through there. Sony stuff always holds its value. So yeah, I was chuffed with that, £150. Photos again. Photo of it working. Doing all the bits and pieces there that it needs to. It's got the remote. Yeah, so that was a good sale. So as you can see, I have had a load of really high sales in July. Not quite so many in August, but it's nothing to worry about. Right, these things I'd never heard of before. Solover or Solover. They were the forerunner to Doc Martens. Basically, they patented the soles that Doc Martens use. And I think Doc Marten ended up buying out the brand as well, but they've kept the name, so they still make these kind of work shoes type things. I paid £3-4 for them. They sold within days for £35. They're in really good condition, actually, hardly any cracks on the leather. I'm not sure how old they were, but I didn't use the word vintage or retro because you can still get these ones. These are the 1466, so they sold very quickly for me, so I was chuffed with that. Next we have, this is the other part of that, we've got the Batmobile. I also got this as well. It sold for £180 actually, so 180 for that, 160 for the Batmobile was 340, paid 150 for them both, so nearly £200 profit before fees, so yeah, that's good. That's a lovely set, that. It's one of the earlier Ultimate Collector's Lego sets, so it's a huge model, very detailed, but it's quite flimsy, quite fragile, really wobbly. So I think if they built something like that now, it'd be a lot more sturdy, probably have a few more features on it. But it's a fantastic looking set. But yeah, I just decided to sell it rather than keep it. We're nearly there, guys. Next up, we've got a Lego Bionicle set. So some of these do go for money, certainly the ones worth keeping your eye out for. This was in a big bundle of Bionicle that I got, that I probably paid, I don't know, about a tenner for. I found this guy was worth quite a bit of money on his own, so I made sure he wasn't even complete, he was nearly complete. I got £38 for him. But some Bionicle stuff does go, so it's worth rooting through it sometimes. What else we have? A lovely Yamaha surround sound system that I paid £60 for from Facebook about 3 months ago. And it's been sat in my garage for months waiting for me to list, because I thought, if I'm going to list it, it's going to be an absolute pain to ship it all. Also, it was missing one speaker, so I managed to get a, not an exact one, but I got a it's all Yamaha, as you can see. It's a really good quality system. I replaced one of the speakers with an Onkyo speaker, where there, yeah. Similar wattage, similar size, so it will do the job exactly the same, really, for a surround sound. It's fine. That I got 230 quid for, so again, a really good sale. That hasn't come back, so yeah, it's gone past the 30 days now, thank God. So yeah, make sure you charge postage. Charge 13 quid for that. I don't even think it cost me that, but it took me about half an hour to pack it all. Wrapped all the speakers up individually, wrapped the sub up individually, made sure everything was double boxed as well. So yeah, pay yourself for your time of packing stuff. You factor that into your postage. So £12.99 I got for that. So probably made about 3-4 quid on postage. So yeah, it's worth doing. That was a good flip. Next we have these boots. Sold them once, they came back because they were too small. Cowboy boots always sell really well. Wore these myself for a few days. Didn't really, because they're women's ones and that would be silly, but they're really cool. They're not a brand I'd ever heard of. They do look like sort of genuine country western, maybe line dancing boots. Good quality, loads of details on them. They're embossed and they've got embroidery on them as well, so it's just win-win. And I thought to myself, yeah, if I was a woman, I would totally wear those shoes, and someone else thought that as well. I paid 6 quid for them and I got 35 back, so yeah, that was great. Next up we have another Lego Star Wars set. There's a pattern here. This is Lego Star Destroyer from about 2005, 2006, I think. One of the earlier ones. This was unboxed, but it was nearly complete. But luckily, I've got a huge collection of Lego parts that's all sorted out, so I was able to get all the missing parts from that. It's got all the minifigs in with it here. These are all the photos. Bish bash bosh. It's not showing all the photos, but trust me, I did put more than that on there for some reason. Maybe because it's an older listing, it doesn't show all the photos, but I definitely put more on than that. Got £100 for that. Next we've got a gift set, Dolce Gabbana. This is a discontinued fragrance, and these are always worth looking out for. I paid 15 quid for it, which is a little bit more than what I like to pay, but I got 50 for it, so I've made like 30 quid after fees, which is brilliant. This is Dolce & Gabbana Red. They don't make this one anymore, correct me if I'm wrong, but pretty sure they don't. The fragrance is unused. The shower cream and that had a little bit of use out of them, so it wasn't even new. It was, I sold it as used and I got 50 quid for it. I obviously make sure you're accurate with your description. I've put that there was a quarter used of one and third used of the other. Don't put them as new and unused if they haven't been. Didn't really like the fragrance, to be honest, but it was okay. But so obviously someone did. So discontinued stuff always sells well. And the last thing that's notable, because I did have 150 sales in July, I'm not going to go through all of them with you. Last one is this. Pay 3-4 quid for it from a charity shop. It's a preamp phono record player converter. So basically it does two things. It converts your vinyl to MP3s by connecting it to your PC, and it also works as a phono stage because record players don't natively kick out enough not current, what's the word? They don't kick out enough sound, so it's got to be amplified before you can hear it through a normal amplifier. So it has a phono stage, which basically works as like a mini amplifier before it gets to the real amplifier, so you can hear it. I'm not an electrician, sorry, but it's something like that. But yeah, that's all for 40 quid, so that was a good pickup. So yeah, so there we go. So that's some of my most interesting sales from the last month. Bit of a quicker video this time, so that's all I'm going to say for now. There are going to be some more videos coming up from me soon. I have settled into a good groove, so I'm going to be talking about how I'm finding eBay at the moment, what my plans are for the future with regards to growing my business, and if there's any other videos in particular you'd like to see from me in the future, make sure you leave a comment down in the comment section. In the meantime, if you just tickle that little bell next to my name and stay subscribed for more interesting, amazing finds and me making a living full-time on eBay. Oh yeah, I've also quit my bar job that I took again, so I'm leaving there in a couple of weeks time because I don't need to work it anymore really, because I'm doing well enough on here. So I just thought I'd keep you guys posted. Okay, thanks for watching, hope you found it interesting, and yeah, if you hit me in the comments if you want to know anything. Okay, thanks a lot guys, bye bye.